What is up, everybody? So now we are on dilation video 2. So before we do the new stuff, let's quickly review how to dilate from 0, 0 using a scale factor. So if I'm using my scale factor is 3 and I want to dilate from 0, 0, all I have to do is multiply each x and each y by 3, our scale factor, right? So that means that w prime is going to become -6, -3. X prime is going to become -6, 6. And y prime is going to become 6, 6 as well. Okay? From there, let's graph that out. So that becomes -6, -3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Here's w prime. Here is x prime. And here is y prime. Let's go ahead and connect those up. And let's do our test, just making sure that the lines match up. So our y's should be on the same line. It's actually kind of hard for me to draw a line from 0, 0. It keeps wanting to connect. Keeps wanting to connect to other lines. Not as pretty as the last one. Oh my gosh. Let's see if I can freehand it. Definitely not as good looking as when I use the drawing the line tool. Also not as cool when it's kind of like that when they're all spread out. Okay, but notice, guys, that it would never, our shape would never come down over here, and it would never come down over here. It would stay within those parameters. Okay. And then if my scale factor was 1/3, I'd have to divide by 3. I'd get decimals. That wouldn't be fun, but you get the idea. Now, let's move on to dilating from a point other than 0, 0. So this is where you need to put your thinking cap on a little bit again, just like when we were dilating or rotating around a point other than 0, 0. Okay? So notice I have triangle ABC. Now in the past, we were always dilating from right here. But now our center of dilation is changing to 5, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and draw that in. And you're going to want to put a point right there. Now, this one's not as magical. It's more of kind of like you got to do a lot of work. It's not as easy. It's still not that bad. So first things first is to know that our scale factor is 2. So just like we counted vectors in the rotation, we're going to do something similar here. Okay? So and I'm going to keep it, I'm going to start with point B. And the reason why I'm going to start with point B is because it's going to give the best example of what's happening. So think about point B. How much do you have to travel to get to B? Well, to get to B, I have to go 1, 2 left and 1 down. Okay, so the distance vector-wise would be -2, -1. Now, I'm not going to make you write a vector. Instead, you just need to keep a memory of the travel distance, horizontally and vertically. Because what you're going to do is you're going to do that path the number of times you are scaling your figure. So our scale factor is 2. So that means it's going to move through that path twice. So that means I'm going to go left 2, down 1. That's one movement. I'm going to do that same thing again because I'm going to travel twice because our scale factor is twice. I'm going to go left 2, down 1 again, and that is the new location of my B prime because it's replicating double the movement away from the center of dilation. Okay? Now, if my scale factor was 3, I would do 1, 2, 3, and this would be my new point right here. Okay? So because it's only 2, though, we go 1, 2. So B prime is right there. See, it get a little darker green, make it easier to see. Now let's think about how we get to A. We go down 1, 1, 2, 3, to the left 1. So that path is 1, 2. So I'm down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1. I'm doing that distance twice. So that means my A is right here. And then for C, to get to C, I just go left 1 and I'm there. So I'm going to do that twice. 1, 2. So my C prime is right here. So now I'm going to connect it up. And the same thing should still be true, though. I still should be able to draw lines, and my C should be on the same line, my B's should be on the same line, and my A's should be on the same line. Okay. Let's do the next one. So my center of dilation is at 1, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. So it's just right here. Okay. And my scale factor is 4 now. So let's do A and C because those ones are easy. So to get to A, I'm just traveling left 1. So I'll do that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So A prime is right here. C is just down 1. So I'll do that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then A is down 1, left 1. So I have to do that movement 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my B is going to be there. And just a quick check. B's should be on the same line. A's and C's. Cool. Okay. So it's not as easy as doing a scale factor from 0, 0. It requires you to count, plan it out, but it's still not too bad, right? You have to understand the concept. Once you understand the concept, it's easy, right? So just remember, whatever the distance is to get from your center of dilation to your point, your scale factor, and then you have to take that distance and then double it or triple it if it's your scale factor. Now, what if our scale factor is a reduction, so it's less than 1? Then we have to do something, same concept, but a little bit different, okay? So now here it says scale factor of 1/2 from 1, 0. So 1, 0 is right here. Now it's the same concept, but in reverse. So we need to do half the distance that our points are away. So notice that point B. To get to B, I go right 2 and down 2. So horizontally 2 and right and down 2. Now, when you're doing reduction, it might be helpful to put it in a vector. So what I mean is to get to point B, my vector is right 2 and down 2. So right 2, down 2. You can then multiply by your scale factor on your vector if you want to. Okay? So what I mean by that is I would just multiply by 1/2. So half of 2 is 1, half of -2 is -1, so that means my movement technically would just be right 1, down 1 to right here. And guys, this concept would also work if you wanted to use the vector method on the previous problem. So what I mean by that is to get to C, right, my vector is -1, 0. I could just multiply by that, and that would become -2, 0. So notice it's just 1, 2. It's the vector, okay? To get to B, it's left 2, down 1. So my B vector is left 2, down 1. Multiply that by 2. That's -4, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's the same concept. Okay, so if you're comfortable with the vectors, you can totally use those as well. It's just some people like the counting more than having to write extra work. But if vectors is kind of your thing because you understood it in rotations, please use it, okay? So back to what I was saying over here, okay? You can choose to use the vectors if you want to, or what you can simply do is go, all right, right 2, down 2, right 2, down 2. What's half of right 2 and down 2? Right 1 and down 1. So that would be right here. Let's change the color so we don't get confused. Okay, so right 1 and down 1 for B prime. So now to get to C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right 6, down 2. So again, if people want to see the vector, right 6 and down 2. Well, half of 6 is 3. Half of negative 2 is negative 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. So here is our C prime. And then for A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that vector is 6, 6. So that means A prime would be at 3, 3. And so guys, now that I think about it, it might be a good idea, especially for the fraction ones, to use the vector. So that way you're not worrying about, okay, well I went horizontally 6 and I went up 6, so half of that is 2 and 2, so, or 3 and 3, so to go right 3 and up 3. The vectors allows you to kind of put it in writing a little bit more. Especially with the fractions, it might be easier. Let's go ahead and do one more. We'll do number 2. So our center of rotation is at 3, negative 4. Okay. And so let's go ahead and let's do A. So A is 1, 2, 3, 4 left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 up. So my A vector is left 4, up 4. So that means I'm going to multiply that vector by 1/4. Negative 4 times 1/4 is 1, negative 1, 1. So I'm going left 1 and up 1. So here's A prime. To get to C, I just go left 4. Don't go up or down. So that means C prime is negative 1, 0. Just move left 1. And to get to B, I'm just going down 4, 0, negative 4. Multiply that by 1/4. B prime's at 0, negative 1. And again, guys, with both of those problems, you can still do your test, right? So A should be the same, B should be the same, C should be the same. A's, whoops, gotta draw it from the center rotation. A's, C's, can't seem to get on that line. My iPad doesn't want to line up, but you guys get the idea. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.